I saw it's West Side Story. What I saw it's just alright. What I saw it's West Side Story. What I saw it's just alright. Hey man.
Alright, I got some numbers for you guys. This is a sales update from the very first show. So, but since I only got one thing on that first show, that didn't sell. But anyway, we got basically episode 2. I'm gonna go through these numbers. I have a lot, as you can see, just tons and tons of sales. But so episode 2, the router dovetail fixtures, there was actually 3 in there. I gave one to a friend, and the other 2 I ended up selling for $30, and those were free. If you remember, they came with the camping stove, which I ended up throwing away. And it also had an attachment, was called a it's like a Vertex CO15E, which is like a laminator cutter, and I sold that for $25. So all that stuff I ended up making $55 off, and it was all free. So the Apple Magic Mouse Gen 1 that I had picked up on episode 2, I paid $1 for. It was not working, so I ended up selling it for cheap for $7. The Nikon D40 camera that I picked up at that same sale for $15, I ended up selling for $87. The Polaroid SX70 black camera with the case that I paid $5 for, I ended up selling that for $60. The Netgear AC3200 router that I thought was brand new was actually not brand new, so I ended up having to sell it used, but I paid $20 for it, and it sold for $85. The Zuka sports frame that I paid $2 for ended up selling for $40. The Fatheads sunglasses I paid 75 cents for, sold for $20. The AKG microphone, the D880, I paid $2 for, sold for $30. The GoGo Baby Z, that little cart thing, I paid $5 for it. It sold twice. The first person didn't pay, and they ended up getting it for $35. They didn't pay, so I had to open a case on them. So I relisted it. It sold for $25. The Garmin Forerunner the 201, which was the arm thing for running, paid $5 for it. That sold for $50. And then I also, at that same sale, got a Rep Rate Intercure, which was like a respiration thing, and I paid $1 for that. That sold for $80. And then the Tilt All Tripod 4602, I paid $2 for that. That sold for $50. The Apple MagSafe adapters, there was 2 in there that I paid for $1, sold for $8. And then at the end of episode 2, I picked up the David Clark headphones, with the aviation headphones, for $10. Those sold for $120. And then the Sonos wireless speaker, I paid $20 for, and that sold for $210. So that's all of episode 2 that is sold. I still have a bunch more stuff to sell, but pretty good for all that. On episode 3, the one where I got in an argument with that woman, the Mofran massager that I paid $15 for, I ended up selling for $80. And that's the only thing from episode 3 that is sold. For episode 4, I bought that upright vintage bass, which I was really excited about. I found out that it's from the 1800s. I took it into this place called Scott K.O.'s, a stringed place. They basically told me that it would cost me like $3,000 or $4,000 to fix that thing correctly, and that it would only sell for about $5,000. So I wasn't about to invest that kind of money. But that upright bass I paid $10 for. I ended up selling it to somebody on Facebook, where they gave me $100 in cash, and then they gave me this Hofner bass. It was like the Paul McCartney BB series, and I sold that for 150. So that's 250 bucks on that. And then I also sold one of the bows. It came with 3 bows, but one of the bows didn't belong with it, and I sold that bow for $47. So that's $297 off of $10 off that upright bass. So good deal. For the beaver paddle that I bought at that sale too, the vintage paddle for $2, sold for $28. And then I went to that block sale, and Good Sam, there was a Good Sam GPS RV unit, and I paid $20 for it. That sold for $100. I also bought this Combat B1 bat, and I paid $1 for it. That sold for $40. And then, if you remember, I had bought also 3 bats at the sale for $6. So they all sold. The Easton Redline bat, I got $50 for. The Synergy 2 Easton bat, I got $62. And then I got $75 for the Z-Core bat. So that's, to me, that was an awesome deal. And that was all in episode 4. Episode 5, when I went up to Oregon, met with my friend Alex, I bought some things up there. The 1998 Acura Integra blinker lights, the left and right, I paid $1 for. Those sold for $40. The Fender acoustic DG60 guitar I bought for $20, sold for $70, and I sold that on Facebook, so there was no eBay listing fees or anything. That was nice. And then I had bought the Mac OS X Snow Leopard software discs at that, and it actually had 2 sets, one for a 13-inch MacBook Pro, and then the other one was just the straight Snow Leopard software. And I paid $1 for both. I sold the Snow Leopard software for $12, and then the other one for $12. So $24 off that, not bad. And then the Google Home smart speaker Generation 1, I paid $10 for, sold for a little lower than I wanted. It sold for $45. Actually went pretty quick. And then I got the Garmin Nuvi, the 2599 GPS unit that wasn't working right. I paid $5 for that. That sold for $25. I wish that I got a little bit more for it, but that's fine. And then the Feather brand oars, the 4 quantity, those 4 paddles, paid $15 for them. Those sold for $50. I wish those went for a little more, but you know, I still made money in Oregon, which was awesome. It basically paid for the trip. The HP on episode 6, I got this HP 902 XL. It was 3 sets of ink. Paid $3 for it. Those sold for $45. I also bought that Velocity speed gun for $15. That sold for $60. The Easton Mako BB16 MK bat. I bought 3 bats at a garage sale, and 2 were the Makos. 1 hasn't sold yet, 1 has, and I paid $5 for all the bats. The Mako BB16 MK sold for $50, and then the Louisville Slugger EX03 bat ended up selling for $15. So not bad. I also picked up those Weller solder irons. There was 2, one with a base and then one that was complete. The completed one, I paid $5 for both. I sold the completed one for $35, and then I ended up selling the base for $10, but there was an issue with it, so I ended up doing a return on that, so I lost money on that one. The Casio SA1 keyboard that I got for free, I sold that for $55. The Atari system, the 800 system, I paid $20 for. It turns out it had more ROM than what I sold it for, so I took the 10K extra ROM out and sold that separately. So I paid $20 for the Atari system. I sold it for $85, and then I sold the 10K ROM cartridge for $20, so $105 off that, which is good. All of those MacBook chargers I bought 8 chargers in a bag for $5. If you remember, that one guy was near me and he was trying to look through my stash, which kind of really annoyed me because you're not supposed to do that. When somebody's picking, you kind of leave them alone and don't go near where they are. So I sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 of the plugs already. One of them I got $15. The other one I got $14. I got $15 for another one, $20 for another one, $15 for another one, and $15 for another one. So I still have 2 left to sell. That's not bad for $5. For episode 7, the Prada designer shoes, I paid $3 for those, and they sold for $25.50. I also got a Honeywell gas outlet thing, and that thing I bought for $1. I ended up selling it for $50, but there was a problem with it, so I had to basically do a return and ate money on that one, which sucks. Episode 8, I bought that Seagate 2 terabyte hard drive. And I ended up selling it, but I checked it before I sold it, and it turns out there was issues with it. So I tore apart the case and took the hard drive out, and the hard drive worked fine, just the case wasn't working. So I paid $3 for that. I sold that hard drive for $25. The iPod Touch 5th generation 16 gigabyte, I paid $20 for that. That sold for $50, which not good. I wasn't happy with that one. The Oakley Half Jacket 2.0 sunglasses, I paid $5 for. Those sold for $41. The Dyson, and for those Oakleys, I had paid $5 for. The Dyson hot and cold fan, the AM04, I paid $30 for. That sold for $113. The Apple Watch band woven nylon, I paid $2 for. That sold for $20.50. The Digitech WH one whammy pedal, which I was stoked on, that I paid $30 for it. That sold for $207.50. The Rollo label maker, the X1038, I paid $5 for. It ended up selling for over $100, but there was an issue with it, and the guy kind of worked with me. Awesome buyer. He worked with me, and I basically gave him $25 back to cover something that he was going to do to it. And so I sold that for $82.76 after the $25 return. The Bose Sound Dock portable that I got for $1, it was missing a plug. I had tested that, worked perfectly. I sold that for $40. I also got the Sony DCR DVD 108 Handycam with that, and that ended up selling for $20, and that was free. So I also got for $1 the iPod Nano first generation black 2 gigabyte A1137, and that sold for $50. And then they also threw in the Apple iPod Classic box, and that sold for $9. So for episode 9, the Crane Pro stapler, 615, I bought it for $5. It sold for $25. For episode 10, I bought the Scott KO violin. It was a model STV 017. I paid $15 for that, and that sold for $127.61. Episode 12, I had bought several things for $40, but I just kind of broke them out per price of what he sold them to me for. So the Toshiba DVR 620 KU, which I marked down that I sold for bought for $20, it sold for $137.50. The Sony CCD TRV 308 camcorder, I paid $15 for. That sold for $54. The one sale where you saw where I bought the Swan stuff, it was the Swan DVR with 7 cameras. Well, it turned out to just be 6 cameras, and I broke it up. I sold the Swan 4 cameras the SP Pro 735 cams. I sold those for $150. And then the Swan SW DVR 834-25H with the 2 cameras, I sold that for $120. I paid $30 for both of those, and basically that's $270 off that. Really good find right there. The Samsung 950 Pro M.2 SSD 516 gigabyte, I paid $25 for that, and that sold for, or I paid $20 for that, and it sold for $80. For episode 13, I bought the KitchenAid mixer, the Artisan. I paid $25 for it. It actually had a dent in it, which I didn't see. Kind of sucks. I think that brought the value down, but I still sold it for $102.50. The Sony Walkman FS566 not working. It was basically not working. I didn't know until after the person had bought it. So I ended up having to cancel the sale, and I have it reposted right now. I paid $3 for it, so who knows if it'll even sell. I'm trying to see if I could at least get $10 for it to make up for some of it. The Casio cassette player, or no, Casio, the Sanyo cassette player, the M4440, paid $3 for it, and that sold for $30. And for episode 14, I had bought several iPods. One of them actually was working, but then I plugged it into this charger, and I think the charger messed it up, so it stopped working. But 2 of them sold so far. The iPod Nano first generation black 4GB A1137. I paid $5 for all of them. I got $60 for that one. The iPod Nano 4th generation actually had a bad battery. They normally go for like $40, but I ended up getting $20 for it. I also bought that Lego Ninjago Aritsu. It was new in its package. I paid $4 for it, sold for $22. I got that Casio G-Shock watch. It's model 5081. I paid $1 for it, sold for $33. I also got that Apple MagSafe plug A1436. That was the one that I bought with the Maui Jim sunglasses, and I paid $1 for it. It sold for $17.50. And then on episode 16, I bought this Duratrax Invader. It's a DT RC car. I paid $7 for it. That sold for $43. And then episode 17, the only thing that I bought on that episode, the Panasonic DVD recorder, DMR EZ485V, had no remote. I bought that for $25, and that sold for $120. It sold fast. So really happy with that. Just so you know, with all of these numbers, I totaled it out, and with all of that, I spent $528.75, which all of the items sold for $4,348.37. Now, with eBay's fees and shipping and all that stuff, my profit on all of that was $3,663.37. So, I mean, you gotta love that. That's all garage sale stuff. This is stuff people are throwing away. So this is amazing to be able to do this. It's a second job for me, and I do it on the weekends. I absolutely love it. And yeah, so I had to get these numbers to you because I've had a couple subscribers go, man, you got to give us some update on what you've sold, and so this is a lot. So next time I'll do a sooner update because this took some time to be able to do this. But hey, thanks for watching, and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks.
When I saw it's West Side Story, when I saw it's just alright. When I saw it's West Side Story.